Alright, so when we finished the last one, we initialized the loop, and then we tested to see if this was true, and of course it have to be if we initialize it correctly. Then we went ahead and we brought in the child name and the gender. We tested to see if it was a boy. If it was a boy, then we incremented the boy counter by adding 1 to it, which means 0 plus 1 is 1. And then we did the header. And this header was, if we did, say, Tom, it would be that boys' names colon 1 dot space space Tom, and then we would output that. We go around again, say yes is another name. Name would be DeBob. The gender would be boy. It's a boy. Now 1 was in the boy counter. We add 1 more to it, so now it's 2. 2 is not equal to 1, so we go down this way. And that means it keeps in here the boy accum, the boy's names Tom, 1 Tom, and then joins that, we're using this join symbol, to a delimiter, which is a space, and then number 2 for the boy counter, dot space space, and then Ed or Bob. All right, we can keep it going around over and over and over again. And then I went ahead and I just simply copied this and pasted it to the other side, changed everything that said boy to girl, and then ran it again, this time with Susie and Cindy, and the same thing happened. If it was a girl counter went to 1, it was 1. We started with the header, and then we outputted it, came around again. Now with Cindy, it was a girl, it's not a boy. Girl counter goes to 2, which means it comes over here and it keeps the girl's names Susie 1 Susie, and now it goes to joining that with 2 and then Cindy. Once we've done that, we got both these things working, we don't have to bother with any of this outside of the loop. In fact, the only thing outside the loop is something that says done looping, which is important, so I know that if something goes wrong here, or if I say no, there's no more, and I don't get done looping, it means that I'm stuck in my loop. Alright, so the next thing we did was to code it. So if I bring in the code, I'm not going to go and type all that in front of you because that would be a lot of time for nothing. Alright, so what do you need to know about, what's important about this? 2 things. Well, many things. One of the things that's going to be different is, of course, we have to declare our variables. And we do that. I need a child name, I need a gender, I need a boy and a girl accum, that's fine. The boy and girl counter, though, are a little bit different, and that is because if I don't put a 0 in it, like you see here, I'm assigning 0 to boy counter and 0 to girl counter. When I come down here to add boy counter plus 1, in Visual Logic, it automatically has a 0, but in JavaScript, this has null, and null is not a number. It cannot be added to 1, and what will show up here is capital N, small a, capital N, which you've probably seen before in your other code, and that means not a number. There's nothing here, which means this is going to be false, and everything's not going to work correctly. To fix that, we initialize it with a 0, so that it won't have null in it when we go to add later on. And we also have to initialize the another name with a yes, so we do that here instead of doing it up here. And now we're ready to go. So to start the loop, we use a while, and then we have to make a decision. While this is true, and that is that another name equals yes, and here's another important aspect, and that is the equal sign does not mean equal in JavaScript, it means a sign to. Double equals, that means equal. So that's why here we're not asking it if boy counter is equal to 0. We set assign 0 to boy counter. Here we're saying that is another name equal to yes. Is that true or false? And then we ask for the name of the person. And then we ask if they're a boy and a girl. And you might notice that here I have added a default value of boy just to make that a little bit easier for me to test. I don't have to keep typing in the word boy. If I mistype it, it ends up screwing everything up. Next thing I have to do is, again, I have a double equals thing here. Is the gender equal to boy? So again, I have to use a double equals. Increment the counter, see if it's the first time. Everything else works the same as it did in Visual Logic. We could have copy and pasted all the way through. Once I have my boy side working, I simply copy all this, paste it down here, change my if into an else, and everything else, every place it said boy, I change it to girl, and then this all works. So let me just go ahead and test the girl side, see if it works. Okay, what is the name? The name is Cindy, and she is a girl. Should have changed that default value. And girl counter is undefined. Okay, so why is girl counter undefined? When I should have initialized it up here, and that is down here I have a capital C and up here I have a small c. That's what happens when I don't copy and paste. Alright, so now it's going to work perfect, we assume. Okay, so what is the name? The name is Cindy, and she is a girl. So there's one, Cincy. Is there another name? Yes. What is the name? This will be Susie. Suxy. She is a girl. And you can see VQ, my number 35, is undefined. And I went to do Control V, and it ended up with V. So, see, it's a good thing we're testing these things. So you can see I hadn't tested it before I ran this. I just copy and pasted and changed everything and hope for the best. So, again, this right here is the girl accum. And then I'm going to go up here and change this up here to girl. And we'll test it one last time. Alright, so the name is Cindy, and she's a girl. There's the name. Another name, yes. This is going to be Susie, and she's a girl. And there's the girls, two girls' names. So you can see I am accumulating. If I do one more, and this one is Pat, and she's a girl. You can see how it is all accumulating nicely on there. And then I say no, and then done looping pops up, and now I'm ready to go ahead and finish up my code. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do in my next segment, is go ahead and my next segment, what we're going to do is we're going to copy these alerts down into my document write. And change these into document rights, because we don't want our user to see that. They didn't say they wanted to see it every time we went around. And you can see it makes it a lot more, lot easier for our user. All right, so we're done.